Located in northwestern India, the capital of Rajasthan is Jaipur, known as the Pink City, the city built by Maharajas in the desert.
India is always exotic for me. Colour and energy are exciting. It's full of history, but it's also full of contradictions. Ancient, modern, fast and slow.
Andrew is using the same pink sandstone that was used to build the Maharajas' palaces in Jaipur.
And they carry it a short distance and transfer it to somebody else so that they're not straining too much. And just watching the work create the form and watching the form grow over a period of time is always quite exciting. For me, this is a continuation of what was done in the past, where Indigenous cultures always related themselves and their environments and the landscapes. And this, to me, is what this form of contemporary art is all about.
It's a Vedic ritual, ancient ritual, and so we wanted it to be that way only, so that Andrew's sculpture, it stands here forever and ever.
All my sites are about the rhythms of life, an optimistic symbol of life and regeneration. Rocks for me are about the present focus of our being. They invoke the pristine environment, which we need to care about and think about for future generations.
We're working with big stones on slopes. This is obviously not another day at the office.
Huge numbers of people, impossibly steep slopes and extreme heat make the job very hard. Andrew's worried that work is progressing far too slowly.
Too small, too small.
He has only 5 days to finish, and it's not looking good.
It's always a challenge during this process to keep the creative process flowing. It's always an exercise in persistence and fortitude. Now, as we're getting to the end of the process, I can see the moment coming when finally the work will be finished and people can look at it and contemplate their heritage. Most important people here are all of the people I see sitting in front of me that helped build the geoglyph on the mountain up behind us. It's a very spectacular location. The reason I chose this location in China is because it has such historical content.
This area is also home to the legendary Jiayuguan Fortress, once a famous stopover on the Great Silk Road.
It's where the Silk Route began across the Gobi Desert and Marco Polo travelled.
Now protected as a United Nations World Heritage Site, this place was once known as the end of the earth. In the desert near the fortress, Andrew will build 3 giant sculptures, hundreds of meters across.
The first thing we will do is build the head and shoulders. Okay?
To do this, every single stone needs to be brought up from below by hand. So Andrew organizes a human conveyor belt. As Andrew selects the best rocks for the higher slopes, the head begins to take shape, and the other teams start building the arms and body and legs.
You've got to understand the scale of this site. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hills and 4 valleys. So it's a huge site.
Together, they will need to create a messenger who looks perfect from the air, yet is built on a series of impossibly steep hillsides. Because of their scale, Andrew's geoglyphs aren't meant to be seen from the ground, but are built to be seen from the air. And it's only from the air that the beauty of the shape can truly be revealed. And the rhythms of life is so huge that it completely dwarfs the 1,000 soldiers of the Chinese army putting the finishing touches to the walls.
I would like to thank the Army, who work very hard in a very disciplined manner. And I would like to thank the municipality for being such great hosts. I hope these three forms form one more link in the chain of the rhythms of life.
Here in the dramatic setting of the Kathmandu Valley, next to some of the highest mountains of the world in the Himalayas, and in one of the deepest gorges on Earth, Andrew Rogers has planned to build the first of his 3 giant stone sculptures, or geoglyphs. As always, choosing the perfect site is of primary importance. It has to be a powerful spot that will work with the land and light to create a sublime place for contemplation. But it's also got to be a place that can withstand the raging winter rivers of this land. Blessings are offered to the earth before building begins on the symbol he's collaboratively chosen for this site, the Srivatsa, the Buddhist endless night.
Look at this ancient carved wooden column, and upon it is one of the 8 sacred symbols, the endless knot. And this is what we're going to create on the ground in stone. Wherever possible, we use the local methods and materials. Here, we have a lot of women who prefer to carry the rocks like Sherpas, with the weight of the loaded baskets held by a thick band around their forehead.
Local materials are always used. In this case, the team is using mud to bind the rocks together.
It's really exhilarating when something of this scale is complete. It's a demonstration of what a focused, harmonious community effort can achieve. I really enjoy being part of it. Part of this creation is about making connections between land and people. Warm, colourful celebrations like these are profound moments that really make the effort worthwhile. Seen from above, you get a sense of the place that geoglyphs had in the world of our ancestors, their power to speak, the way they crystallise the mystery of the land. I wanted to come to the Himalayas because the Himalayas are one of the significant topographical features in the world, and the spirituality that is drawn from them by the people that live here is very special. We're welcomed by the local monks and invited to participate in a blessing of the land. During this ceremony, as I place the intention rocks and sprinkle rice, I'm reminded that I'm living my dream, creating earth art in some of the most remote places on this planet. There is so much to be coordinated. even in organising lines of workers to just move enough rocks to supply the stonemasons. This site has given me the opportunity to locate the rhythms of life in one of the most spectacular locations in the world. Like life, we all have mountains to climb, so to align the rhythms of life with this mountain is very appropriate.
Locals gather for a final celebration of their achievements.
I always feel the privilege I have in being able to engage with different cultures and to celebrate with them. And I'm always touched by the universal quality of the human spirit, the fact that this beautiful earth is home to all of us. I love this feeling of lifting off into the sky and into the buffeting winds to see the work, to see human potential, how it served us in the past and how it will take us into the future.
This is Cappadocia in central Turkey, a land of hidden treasures and deep contrasts. The ultimate sculpture carved by Mother Earth. Andrew is about to start building in a landscape of strange, soft stone, forged by volcanic eruptions 10 million years ago.
I want to create a dialogue which speaks to humanity about memory and the fragility of life. So I've come to a mountain valley near the town of Goromé to build 10 massive land art sculptures. We perceive our existence in time and space, so I have called this group of structures, which will form the largest contemporary land art park in the world, Time and Space. It's spread across 2.5 kilometres and comprises over 10 kilometres of stone wall and some 10,500 tonnes of rock. It will be mostly built by hand by the local people. This horse, known as the Gift, is derived from a 6,000-year-old rock carving, and the title refers to the significant role horses have played in this area in ancient times. It's the subtleties of these walls that I want people to see. You see this beautiful curvature which gradually rises. And visually, I want people to read this as a harmonious, constant form. The Rhythms of Life sculpture is a dynamic structure embodying the changing rhythms of life, reflected in the patterns of shape and line, echoing the unpredictable journey of life. The sculpture covers 100 square metres, with walls of up to 2.5 metres in height. Here you can see the inner circle of the grinding wheel. It's very precise. There'll be lots of full circles here, right around up the top of the mountain, and it'll be a beautiful form with all these circles within circles. This millstone, called grind, reflects our journey over time from ancient cultures and ancient civilizations. Strength. This is a sculpture of a double-bodied lion, echoing my interest in powerful symbols of the past that still have meaning for our future. Time and Space is a sequence of 6-metre high basalt columns laid out in the form of an ellipse, representing the motions of the planets circling the Earth, and a Fibonacci sequence vision of time and space and the interconnectedness of humanity. Here you can see the half man and half bird, traditionally known as a griffin in Greek mythology. I've called this work Siren, with a human head and body of a bird. It represents a creature accompanying humans in their journeys to the underworld and the heavens. Yesterday, today and tomorrow is a metaphor for the eternal cycle of life, an expression of human striving and the interconnection of all humanity, The palm tree I've titled Sustenance, and this comes from a 14th century Seljuk tomb, and in Turkish it's known as the Tree of Life. Okay, so that's fine. Predicting the past is a basalt arch, a symbol of transition through time and space, an arch of memory or guardian of values that we need to pass on to future generations. A Day on Earth, a golden section comprising 12 9-metre high solid basalt columns, each weighing 23 tonnes, an arch of memory and an altar of contemplation. And I want to clap you and say thank you. When I do these works, they're given as a gift to the people, so they belong to the community. A drawing on the earth.